This is question 2 from the January 2017 Algebra 1 Common Core Regents exam. And the question reads, what is the solution set of the equation x minus 2 times x minus a is equal to 0? When it's asking us for the solution set, that literally means solve for x, or whatever the core variable is here. We typically use a, b, c, k, things of that nature as constants, and x and y tend to be the variables unless otherwise stated. So in this case, it does certainly look like we're solving for x. And what we're trying to do here is solve for the values of x that would make this equation true. Now, note that this question is already in the factored form, so a lot of students will make the mistake of first foiling this out. What we get is x squared minus ax minus 2x plus 2a is equal to 0. And that's a problem because we don't really know what to do with this. There's no way for us to isolate any of the x's. So there's really no reason at all to FOIL this out because it's already given to us in the factored form. If it's factored, all we have to do is set each individual factor equal to 0, because if one factor is equal to 0 in a product, the whole thing is equal to 0. So x minus 2 is equal to 0 and x minus a is equal to 0. Solve for x in both cases. Add 2 to both sides here and we get x equals 2. Add a to both sides here, we get x equals a. And our answers are 2 and a. Now, just like in the last question, we can back solve this because, again, the solution set means the values of, well, in this case, x and just whatever variable it is, that make the equation true. So if it's the values that make the equation true, we could just substitute in the values. And I'm going to start with number 1 here, right? And we'll take negative 2 and a. So let's start by subbing in negative 2. Well, we get negative 4, and then negative 2 minus a is 0. That's not necessarily 0. That would only be 0 for some values of a. So anything that features negative 2, we can go ahead and eliminate. There's no way that's the correct answer. So now we know that 2 is definitely going to be one of our answers. All we have to do is test a. So if I do a minus 2 times a minus a is equal to 0, well, what we get here is a minus 2 times 0. That has to equal 0 no matter what a is, because a minus 2 times 0, regardless of what a is, any number times 0 is always going to be 0. So a checks out as one of our answers. That gives us choice number 3. If we had negative a as in choice 4 here, this would now be negative a minus a. That would be negative 2a. That means that it wouldn't necessarily have to be 0. So our answer is definitely choice 3. We've got 2 different ways to solve it here, one algebraic and the other by back solving.